I'm ready.
Hey guys, it's Dan from DisneyInfinityCodes.com here with Jose. Jose, what's your last name?
Jose Avalos.
Jose Avalos. That's right.
Yeah.
Man, come on, I'm the worst with last names.
No, that's fine.
And what's your toy box building name?
My toy box building name, I call myself DoctorLogicGate.
Oh, okay.
Well,
yeah.
although that name was actually given by my boss, because I think he was like, everything that happened, it was like, oh, how do you fix it? Put a logic gate in there.
Yeah, there you go.
So that's how it all started.
So we're going to show off how to do quests using 3.0.
Yes.
In the toy box, and this is awesome. This is going to be great, especially in terms of gameplay. You know, being able to show the user, hey, this is where the next quest is.
Yes.
Let's check this out. You know, that kind of stuff. So that's awesome. Fire away. Let's take a peek.
Okay, so we're gonna need a series of elements in order to make this work. Obviously, first we need someone to talk to. So in this case, it can be anyone. It can be people from either from any townsperson from the game, or they can be even cast members.
And it has to be an animate object?
It can be a locator as well. So it can be at a specific place that if you do it, you press something,
you put it
push
in front
the
of
button.
a sign or something, and make it appear so they're interacting with the sign. Okay,
yeah,
cool.
they can totally do that. But for now, since I like Rex, I'm going to have him so that now we actually talk to Rex. But now, one of the new additions is that the cast members, you can also have the property so that they stand still now.
Cool.
Because in 2.0, they couldn't at all. They would just still, move around. And now we have Rex, standing in place. And now what we will need to do as well is put a beacon on top of their head saying, hey, this is the person that you need to talk to. Or in this case, dinosaur.
Yeah.
So for that, we have to go into the Creativity Toys category. And it should be, where are you? Okay, and the first toy we're going to be showing is a new Creativity Toy called the Radar Marker. Cool. You can use the Radar Marker for showing, points of interest in the world. People, a specific place you have to go to, or even enemies. Like, missions to places where you have to defeat all the enemies, you actually can do that now as well. So what we're going to be doing is...
So you can put a radar marker on anything? Ideally, through either a locator or an actor. Or an actor, yeah.
An actor or a specific enemy as well.
Sure.
So what we're going to be saying is first, connected to Rex. So we select new actor connection, and now we select Rex, and now we say actor. Now they are connected, but it's a two-step process. First, you have to tell the connection, and then you have to tell the radar marker, hey, focus on this guy.
Sure.
Because by default, when you activate it, it's set on the toy itself and the location where it's at. So for that, we go to the properties, and now we say beacon location. Instead of this toy, which is by default, it will be connected actor.
Sure.
But also you can do it on a specific player, or you can even put a beacon on top of yourself.
I see.
Or also all enemies. But for now, we'll go with low connected actor, and to show that it's active, we're gonna put it as active.
Okay.
We've set this on, and you will see that now Rex has a gigantic beacon over the head, just like in the playsets. And you can set this up to be like a question mark, or also like other ones as well. All of them taken from the playsets.
Yeah.
But now the problem is that if I get close to Rex, nothing will happen.
Yes.
So now we need two things to do. One, we need to give Rex or some way of saying, okay, a button that tells you, hey, talk to this guy.
Yep.
And then the proper text. And the way of recognizing this is that in 2.0, what you had to do was putting a trigger area around the characters and then hope for the best and hope they didn't move.
Yeah.
But now you can actually avoid that by using the toy that is called the dynamic trigger. It's right here.
I'm so glad you made just its own page for Creativity Toys.
Oh yeah.
Instead of having them mixed all in the other one, because now there's too many.
Yes. Well, and now this dynamic trigger area, the way that it works is that think of it as the regular trigger areas, but now it's invisible and around a player. It can be an enemy, a locator. So if you gotta say, hey, chase this, and it's a locator that is moving on a spline, you can actually attach it to that. And the area will move around it, so it's no longer static.
That's really great.
So the thing that we need to do, just like we did on the radar marker, is first connect it to Rex, and then say, hey, now focus on Rex, instead of the toy itself as well. So now we will
And after you do this, can you also do the distance checker too? Because I feel like they kind of all go hand in hand.
They work similarly, but they are also a bit different.
Yeah.
So once we're done with this, I can actually show you how the distance checker works.
So you connected Rex to the...
I connected him, but now I need to say, hey, focus on, in this case, target as well. So now we have to do it on the actor.
Great.
And now something will happen whenever I get close to Rex, and that's what we need to set.
And the 10 in the trigger distance.
Yes.
That's the radius.
That's the radius. It's 10 units, in all directions.
And what is? Can you tell me what a unit is in this game?
I can
What is defined as a unit? Because I know that the smallest is the small terrain block.
Yes.
And that's usually what I base my because I do like reviews on characters in terms of like how fast they move, how and I use it based off small terrain block per second.
Yes.
That's kind of how I do it. So what is a unit considered in this?
Well, technically it's considered like a Maya unit because we do the game in Maya, but to give you an idea, this block, the square block by default, is 4 units or 4 meters tall. So the default distance on Rex is approximately between 2 and 3 blocks, 2.5 blocks.
I like you, man. You're like on the ball when it comes to explaining this kind of stuff. You are the man.
Yeah, so
this is
it's
awesome.
a little bit less than this third block.
Gotcha. So each of these small square blocks are 4 units.
Yes. And as such, for example, if you try using
this is tremendous. This is the kind of
the
information.
long block, this is 12 units because, in fact, you can actually compare it by putting 3 little blocks right next to it. So that's more or less, the metric upon which you can do. And I totally agree with you.
So each of these, technically speaking, each of these little things is pretty much 2 units.
No, this is 4 units.
Because there's
this
1,
is 4
2, 3, 4, 5, and then 6. And you said this is, how long was this? 12 units?
Oh, this is 12 units. 12 units wide.
You know what I'm saying? That makes sense. So each of these little hexes would be technically 2 units.
Yeah, just about. Yep.
A little bit, more or less. And also by default, this one is, I think if I'm correct, 4 units high. So it will be as well like 3. So now that we have that, that little discussion of units and how big they are.
This is perfect. I've always been, we've had this discussion a lot in terms of how I base, because I built a toy box. It's like a triathlon for the characters where I put them through all different kinds of tests. And one of them is a speed test. And so I have them, it's a really long runway, and I start them at one end, and then I have a trigger a countdown.
Okay.
Not a countdown, like a stopwatch. And so that when they run through the gate, and then it starts, and then as soon as they get to the end, it shuts off.
Okay.
And I base it off of the small blocks. You know what I mean? And then I calculate how many blocks per second it can run.
That's
awesome. But I like even better now being able to calculate how many units per second it can run.
Yeah.
And I'm sure if I just emailed someone, they could just tell me. Instead, but it's more fun to figure it out yourself, I guess. So that's great. Cool.
Yeah. So now the third toy we're going to be using is the button like on the playset that tells you talk.
Talk, sure.
Or talk or whatever it is, or use. Now this is called the context button designer. And what we will do now is that you can configure it so it doesn't say, you can say it whatever you want it to be. So this is the bottom prompt text, and by default it will say bottom prompt text. But then you can say it talk. I have another level where you have to dig for crystals. So you push that button, it says instead dig, and it can be whatever.
To say whatever you want.
Yes, just as long as it has the same kind of filter as the text creator.
You can have it say kiss. You can have it say hug.
If it goes with the regular text creator toy, it will go through this one as well.
Gotcha.
And now you can also do it like where do you want it to be, because by default it will be on top of the player.
So I could build a Princess and the Frog toy box.
Yes.
Have a small frog.
Yes.
Have it prompt to say kiss.
Yes.
And then we can change him into the prince.
Oh, totally.
Okay, cool. Perfect.
Yeah.
As long as I can do that now, I can sleep at night.
And now you can say, and by default it's set up to be like stay on for until eternity. But if you only want it to be like for 3 seconds, like a timing base, you can also set this up.
Okay.
And well, now what we will do is, now that whenever the player has entered that area, invisible area around Rex, we will show the bottom prompt. And then if you step away, we will make it disappear.
Disappear.
Yes. Yeah, because otherwise the button is going to still stay on top of the player until the end of time.
Gotcha.
So, or until you exit the toy box.
Exit toy box.
Yeah, so for that we will do now. Now, new logic connection. and whenever it's entered. And entered, it can be just the same options as the trigger area, the regular. So it can be a player, an enemy, a ball as well, and so on.
Gotcha.
So, and now the player, and we will say right now any player because I'm not particularly clear who does it, and now we'll make this button appear. And the button will say activate, and you can choose for who to activate it. So, for example, you can make a map where if player 1 approaches the area, it will do something,
that's great.
and then
That's
player
really
2 can do another thing, and so on.
Boy, my goodness, you guys have developed a set of tools where any indie gamers are going to just be able to come in here. Next thing you know, it'll be like you'll be able to open up a marketplace and start
Hopefully.
designing toy boxes and selling them and all
You
kinds
never
of
know.
ridiculous stuff.
And now I'll show it to everyone. And now when I exit the trigger area, I'll make it go away. So neologic connection in this case, whenever I exit it and any player, I'll make it deactivate and I'll choose it as well for, in this case, for all players. So player and all. So now that we have this, I will approach Rex and I will see that I have the bottom prompt on top of myself. But now if I leave, it will disappear as well.
And you can and you can set that unit to as small as 1 unit or 0 unit.
I think
So
the smallest one is 4.
4.
But 4 you have to be like really close.
Okay.
Yeah, you have to be like standing right next to Rex actually for it
Gotcha.
to actually
Which
work.
is something you might want to do if you have like a dig or something
Yeah.
like that, if you really want them to find it.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
okay.
In fact, that's what I do. Like I got players with sound on that level that I did.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, so as long as you get close to it, then when you finally are in the area, the button appears dead. And now finally, just as a way of like showing that we did something right, I will have a Texas player because I don't want to deal with the text creator right now. And what we will do is that when the player has pressed the button, so for that I will select logic connection, and whenever the button has been pressed, in this case it can be pressed by, again, player, any player, that's what trigger and player means, or a specific player. And now I will have Rex say hi. So howdy.
Awesome. Taking
So-
after his buddy Woody.
Oh, absolutely.
Yep.
So now I get close to it, bottom prompt text, howdy.
Awesome. Dude, this is great.
Yeah,
This is,
and
these are some great these are some great fine-tuning tools
Yeah.
for the toy box.
Yeah,
you know
so-
what I mean? That will really allow for people to do some really great stuff.
Oh yeah, and now finally one thing, a new text tool that I want to show in the Texas player, which also works the same way as the text creator, is a new text style that is called confirmation. Because if you remember in this Infinity 2.0, you can always press continue or cancel, right? But now you can actually have it so that right now if I say the bottom prompt text, it will say only continue.
Okay.
So the player-
you continue a conversation.
Yeah, you continue a conversation, you cannot back out of it.
It's like the
At
owl
any
from
point.
Legend of Zelda.
Yeah,
Right. So,
yeah. Yeah,
so
that's
if you
a good
start
example.
talking to the owl, and you say yes, you want to hear it,
And it will
he keeps
stay
going
forever.
and going and going.
And going and going and going forever until the end of time.
Thank you, man. This is
Yeah.
perfect. This is awesome.
Yeah, so absolutely.
You
No,
are
it's my
you
pleasure.
are on point when it comes to this kind of stuff, man.
Oh, it's because I've been working on video tutorials that are going to be on YouTube.
Oh.
Hopefully at launch. But I have already sent several of them, and one of them is actually how to do all this.
Oh, great. Well, I'm on the ball.
Yeah.
I've got like an exclusive peek into your previews, into your tutorials.
Oh, you also asked me to show you the distance
Oh, yeah,
checker
the distance
tool.
checker. That'd be great. Yeah.
All right, so what we will do now is you can also connect it to an actor, to a locator, or whatever it is you want to do. So
Sure.
for now, it's only for time purposes. It's going to be for only between the player and the toy itself.
Sure.
So right now what we need to configure first is, and the main difference is that the trigger area can recognize any kind of actor that enters it, like a player, an enemy, whatever. Instead, the distance checker is only between two actors, two specific actors.
Gotcha.
So for example, if you go into the properties, it will say target A.
Okay.
Target A and target B, and only focuses on those two actors. Whereas
Oh, that's
the
nice.
dynamic trigger is more general.
Gotcha.
So, for example, target A will have this toy, and then target B, I'm gonna call it, in this case, any player.
Okay.
So now it'll check the distance between the two of us.
Oh, nice.
And now, actually, I can now have visible distance display. So now it will show me the distance in meters that I'm close to it. So if you also want to check now how you do your running tutorials or your units,
I like that, man.
you can actually use this one
so
as well.
1 meter is 1 unit?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we use them like
Synonymous.
interchangeable.
Yeah, interchangeable, yeah.
Yeah, and now the other cool thing as well is that the dynamic trigger only has 1 distance, but now this one has 3. So you can perfectly make a game of cold, mild, hot.
I see. Yeah. That's great. That's really cool.
Yeah, so now you also have connections, so you can make
So you can have it just so that it doesn't display the distance, but instead triggers to say if you're within 40 units, it displays one thing.
Exactly.
If you're within 30 units, it displays another.
Yeah.
If you're within 20 units, it then says you're hot. Something like that.
Exactly. In the level that I did, actually, that's what I do. Like,
the level that's going to come out right with the beginning. They showed it in the little preview video with Minnie was digging in the ground and stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's really cool.
So the way that it works, that one is that I use this distance checker between any player and that particular locator, which you actually have to find.
Yeah.
And so when you get into the first distance, you heard a first set of beeping sounds every 3 seconds, and you listen to a text saying a crystal is near. So now you know, oh, okay, there's something
really cool.
nearby. The second distance is a second set of sounds, so now you listen to the beeping now a little bit more intense. And when you're close,
really cool.
you get the bottom prompt and now a third set of beeping sounds. So like, you know, and then when you press it, you can turn it on and off or whatever.
I just want to see.
And now targets come within distance 1 would be like entering the first trigger.
So,
on, it's by default. It's when you turn it on or when you activate it, the same way that you would say it's a trigger or a set active. So
That's
it
really
would be
cool.
from the center of the toy itself.
That's really cool, man.
Yeah, so now it will be easier than ever to do your meters per blocks per.
yeah, I like that a lot. That's really cool. Can you move that next to all the other ones so they're all in a line? So
Absolutely. Yeah,
so I can
let me
grab a
do that.
snapshot of it.
Oh, no, please.
Because that's really cool, man. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
You're
it's
the man.
my pleasure, man. So
Perfect. Yeah, the
these
snapshot
are
with
all
all
the
the Rex
toys
in there. That's perfect.
Yeah,
That's
there
awesome.
you go. There you have a perfect snapshot.
How to do it. All the magic.
Yep.
Man, I can't wait to start building in this. It's going to be amazing.
Yes.
Thank you so much, sir. I appreciate it.
My pleasure, man.
There you go, guys.